Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here, playing Destiny the Taken King. I'm going to be showing you how to get the Black Spindle, which is an exotic sniper rifle similar to the Black Hammer. It has a lot of really cool perks and is very useful in the raid because of its high impact. Step number 1, you will need to do a daily heroic called Lost to Light. And it has to be this level, and it has to be the heroic daily variant. You can't just boost up the difficulty and get it. It has to be on rotation that day. Also, another note is during the first day, it dropped at 310. If you did it very early on the second time it showed up, it also drops at 310. It seems to still drop at 310, but Bungie has shared the fact that it wants to nerf this weapon down to 290. I don't know if this means that everyone who picked it up will be lowering theirs to 290, or if this means that only new drops will be dropping at 290, but they will be nerfing this gun significantly in the coming days, so you'll want to keep that in mind as well, although it still should be pretty good. Now, in terms of what you're supposed to do, all of this should be very familiar to you if you've already done this level. You're going to want to just speed run to the Ogre. You can ignore all of the enemies, kill the Ogre, take the small fragment of Crota's soul, I believe, and then you'll need to start sprinting out. What you'll need to do is sprint through a door that accepts 1 relic, then a door that accepts 2 relics. Make sure you do these 2 phases as quickly as possible. It's okay if individual people die as long as you guys don't all 3 die and wipe. You will want to do this with a fire team, by the way. You basically need to do this with a fire team or else it is almost impossible. Anyways, if you guys wipe, you do have to restart from the very beginning. Go through the first relic door and the second relic door, and then instead of going through the relic door that needs 3 relics, aka the third relic door, you want to run past that door, and then you'll end up in the kind of area where you would fight Dracus in one of the raids. You'll end up in that catch area, and you'll actually be able to take the lift up. This is only accessible if you completely ignore that third relic door, and only if you're fast enough. If you take too long at the first or second relic door, the door that opens up to allow you into the catch will be closed.
We are going to lose him.
Strange. I'm picking up a fallen distress beacon.
Now, once you take the lift up and go through these sets of 2 doors, after the second door, you will begin a timer of exactly 10 minutes. In these 10 minutes, you need to defeat the final boss as well as all of the adds, which is just another word for all of the extra enemies in the area. You have to make your way through the entire level in 10 minutes, killing the boss and all of the adds in the last room. Now, this seems quite easy. It's actually quite difficult. I had to do it 2 or 3 times my first time around, and then 2 or 3 times when I was helping out these friends that I recorded this video with. Now, the first room you're going to want to do in about a minute. The staircase right after this room you're going to want to do in about 20 seconds. The kind of second major room you're going to want to be done within by the time the clock says 7 minutes. So you basically have 3 minutes to run through the first room, the hallway, and the second room to get to the final boss battle with at least 6 minutes recommended left on your time. Once you're in the final room with 6 minutes left, you're probably going to want to kill the boss within 3.5 to 4 minutes to leave yourself at least 1.5 minutes to clear all of the adds out of the room. Now, it depends on kind of what type of team setup you have. If you have a Stormcaller, that's pretty good for taking out adds. So if you have a Stormcaller, make sure your Stormcaller has his super ready for when the final boss goes down, so you can try to take out as many of the adds in the room as quickly as possible. As you can see, my team is doing this quite quickly. You're going to want to try to stay on pace with us, even though we end up having 1.5 minutes extra, meaning we did it 1.5 minutes faster than you need to. Now, in this room here, the kind of focus points are the 2 or 3 wizards that spawn in the back, as well as the 3 snipers that spawn along the back wall and on one of the balconies. Those are kind of the enemies that are always going to kill you. Make sure you use your heavy ammo if you have it. Feel free to use a heavy synth at the beginning, and feel free to also use heavy synths once you reach the boss. Again, I'm going to cut the video a little bit here so you guys don't have to watch everything, but this is very difficult and takes a lot of skill and a lot of team management. Make sure you guys are working together, make sure you guys are communicating, and make sure you guys are taking out all of the important enemies as fast as possible. If you're not, you will probably die, and you won't be going through it fast enough, especially when stuff like wizards spawn additional enemies, and things like snipers can take you out in 2 shots without even trying, literally within a second. It's very important that you do this. Now, you'll actually notice that I'm using the black spindle in this video because I had already unlocked it. But eventually, once you clear that room, you're going to come through this hallway. There's going to be a lot of flame enemies, solar enemies rather. You're probably going to want a few teammates with solar, a few teammates with void, and a few teammates with arc damage weapons, just so you guys can all take out different enemies with different shields as fast and as efficiently as possible. Now, the strategy for the final boss area, it's kind of hard. We got here with 6 minutes 30 seconds. It took us about 4 minutes to kill him, around maybe 3.5 minutes. And a lot of our strategy just involved using really high-powered rocket launchers that we got from the raid. It also helps if you have a really good machine gun. However, there's so many ads and blight balls that are spawning more ads that it's really hard to get your foot out of the door sometimes. What you're going to want to do is poke out the sides, kill the blight balls so that it stops spawning more enemies, and try to get as much damage on the boss as quickly as possible. You're only going to have like 5 to 10 seconds to shoot the boss at any given time before you're forced back into the tunnel. So want to keep that in mind. Here I'm using rockets. I end up using a heavy ammo synthesis to get more rockets to do more damage to him. You won't actually see me kill him because my teammates were actually taking care of him as I was doing some ad control from the side so that they wouldn't be hit as much. Now eventually, once the boss goes down, you have to clear the entire room of every single enemy that's left over. This doesn't seem that hard, but it does take like a significant chunk of time, so it'll probably take you at least 1.5 minutes. From personal experience, I've noticed that it takes 1.5 minutes to clear the room of all of the ads. If you kill the boss with less than that, you can try just to see, do a little bit of a test run, but it's usually not very likely. We were able to one time kill the boss with 1 minute and 10 seconds left, and we're unable to clear the room of ads because of how many there are. Now, again, like I said, some stuff's very useful here. If you have a golden gun, feel free to use it on the boss. If you have like golden gun, celestial nighthawk, that's great. If you have tether, you can tether the boss and make sure all 3 of you guys are shooting the boss. That's going to be helpful as well. Weapons of light can also help. The Stormcaller can help for clearing out the ads on the sides. Nova bombs are useful in certain situations. Feel free to use whatever it is that you can to help your team and make sure you're using it to the best of your ability. Now, like I said, here I'm doing significant damage on the boss. I end up killing the boss here. My team ends up killing the boss while I'm down. I end up fast forwarding the video a little bit so you guys don't have to watch it. But eventually, like I said, the boss will go down, clear out the entire room of ads before the 10-minute timer on the left runs out, and everyone will grab a black spindle. Unless you already have one, then you don't get a second one, even I believe if you're on a second character, although I can't confirm whether or not you're on a second character, but you definitely can't run it over and over and over with the same character. Also, there will be like a 1 in 3 chance that one of you guys will get, well, there's a 1 in 3 chance, so basically if there's 3 of you, there's a pretty decent chance that one of you will get the Vienna Singer craft, which is actually pretty cool. It's one of the rarer crafts in the game, and hopefully one of you guys get that as well. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I see you next time. If this video was helpful, feel free to like it, share it with a friend. Peace.
Will not rest. Will claim every house, consume every banner. You must stand guard him. Yes.